Hi, Dandy. You got a notification. Good. I'm glad. Hi, Whisper to Me. Hi, Tracy. Nice to see ya. I see y'all got some notices. Hi, Dawn Marie. Seems like it's been a while. Good. Hi, Katie Cat. Just cleaning my readers here. Mittens. Hi, Jackie Burns. I noticed, wow, that's surprising. Glad. Maybe I'm doing something right for a change. Hi, Teresa Lily. Well, just waiting for Carolyn to go live. Yes, she does. Davita asked me if I was going to go live, and I said I wasn't planning on it, but if you want me to, I will. So, hi, Tracy again. I was watching Dorothy and Senior Life. So, thank you, Tracy. Yeah, I was at Dorothy's too for a while. I just wasn't chatting, but I did listen to some of it. Hi, Scott. I got some more magazines. They came from eBay today. I have to keep my public happy. Boy, and these are some magazines. Okay, I have one December for Christmas. Let's see if there's another Christmas one. We just kind of ordered Miss Hodgepodge, I guess you call it. I have January. Got a lot of different ones. Nice. These are pretty nice. They're from 2011, it looks like, most of them here. Okay. I wonder where Mama Ramblings is. Let me send her a message so she doesn't get upset and say, why didn't you tell me? And let me let Moo know. Is Davita here? Okay, just message Davita and let me message Moo. Okay. Vintage Gal, hi. Wonder where Kevin is. See, I keep track. I keep track of everybody. Teresa Lily. There's Davita. I just messaged you, Davita. Oh, guys, look at this. On the back of this. Oh, Christmas tree. How lovely are the branches? All aglow with shiny ornaments, colorful lights, and flowing tinsel in this warm photograph from the 1940s, 50s era. The tree is placed in front of corner windows, a display in themselves, with ornate woodwork and leaded glass, so passerbys can enjoy the festive sparkle. Sandy Flood of Morris, Illinois, shares the picture from a collection inherited from Charlotte Billmeyer, who lived in Chicago. Charlotte loved to take photos and was always traveling, notes Sandy. Check out the other pictures and stories of the holiday season in this issue, chock full of delightfully nostalgic memories. Oh, this is pretty. And this one's Home for Christmas is this issue. Relive holiday magic with heartfelt memories. Hi, Gamer Guy. Davita, did you have a live tonight, Davita? Because I had my notification, I had do not disturb on my phone since we were at the funeral home. Okay, this says greetings from the editor. No? Okay. Yeah, we used to always, my mom used to always do our trees with those, right? The tinsels. This says, one thing I've learned from reading holiday memories from across North America is that celebrations don't often come in cookie cutter shapes or conform to the idyllic scenes shown on Christmas cards. As we all know, holidays can grow hectic or challenging. Several stories in this issue recall how the unexpected made an impact. Worry over a loved one away at war, or the first Christmas after a family member had passed away. Others recall years when there was no money for gifts or even enough food to celebrate. But there are common yes, one by one, yes. My mom was so particular about that. She'd get me so upset. She wouldn't let us kids do it. But there are common threads that can be counted on to hold it all together, and they are hope, charity, gratitude, and love of family, friends, and neighbors, whether living or in memory. These keep us going during tough times or when family is apart. Our own Hal Prey, who puts together the popular word puzzle in Reminisce and Reminisce Extra, recently had an aortic heart valve replacement and 2 bypasses. The surgery and recovery process have delayed Hal and his wife's arrival at their Florida condo, but Hal is doing well and hopes to start back on the puzzles and to soon head with Jean to the Sunshine State. If you'd like to send Hal an email or note, and then they give, the address or whatever. Remember, this is 2011, so I don't think we're going to want to email him. This Christmas, my daughters and I will fly to my folks' house in Florida, and my brother and sister-in-law will be there with their girls. This reunion hasn't happened in a while, so I'm extra thankful that schedules will allow everyone to be together. Christmas stories are a special favorite with readers, and our newest book, Reminisce Christmas. Blah, 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 blah. And then she shows a picture, precious memories from years ago. My dad, Larry Miller, and me, 1965. Hi, Mimi. Oh, guys, look how cute. Ringing in the new year, little baby new year. Woody vintage gal. Yes, one of my grandmas had that too, Davita. That aluminum tree with the color wheel. Look at this photo. I know my internet for some reason is blurry. I don't know why. Like I said, we pay a small fortune for it every month. I think I'm just in a bad spot here maybe. And the cables are old and they need to be changed and all that. But they have to go down into the crawl space. And it's just been a mess over the years trying to get them to do it. Hi, Deborah. Good. I'm glad it's relaxing. We all need to relax. It says, welcome to the good old days. Only dry weather was needed for Paul L. Prue Jr. to try out the shiny bicycle he received for Christmas of 1958. The Prow family lived in a house near the American Legion Country Club outside Mount Union, Pennsylvania, having moved from an apartment over Paul Sr.'s office 3 years before. I appear to be in deep thought as I examine one of my Christmas gifts, says Paul Jr., who still lives in Mount Union. Perhaps I was trying to figure out how Santa got the bike down the chimney. A gasoline-powered Comet Sabre 44 model airplane was another great gift for Paul, who recalls wonderful holiday seasons in Mount Union, where his grandparents, William and Maggie Prow, lived on West Milford Street. My dad dearly loved his family, Paul notes. His other passions were his chiropractic profession. Oh, that's cool. That's my son-in-law, Mark, chiropractor. Model trains, building Christmas decorations, and photography. Despite my being forced to pose in 99% of Dad's pictures, his fondness for photography inspired me to make it my career. Barely showing in the basket behind the bike is the top of a Boy's Life magazine. It sure was a boy's life on this Christmas for Paul. Just look at that picture once again. This fireplace is like my dad's parents' fireplace, what I remember. Wait, can you see it? May not be good enough to show. I don't know how the lighting is and everything. And then his stuff on the floor. Maybe if I turn it this way a little. I don't know. Hi, Alicia. My sweetie, my boo. Hi, Carol. Never left the building. Good. I'm glad you guys like this. Okay. Does anyone remember? This is different story, little things people send in, little blurbs or whatever you want to call it. Here's a car, the two girls sitting on it. Dave, could you turn it down just a little? Sounds like he's got another one. He goes, "You're not bothering me." He thinks he's so funny. Thank you. I just washed my hair, guys, with that thickening shampoo that Kathy from Texas sent me. And I just took a vitamin D calcium. Okay, calcium. I'm losing it. Temporary bumpers. When cars started rolling off the assembly lines again after World War II, the first ones came with temporary wooden bumpers. Chrome bumpers arrived months later and were then installed by the dealers. Consumers with certain occupations were the first ones who could buy the limited number of new cars after the war. We lived on a farm near Logan, Ohio, and my father, Ray Snyder, was also a mail carrier. That put Dad near the head of the line to get a car. My sister Ruth left, and I pictured sitting on the hood of our new 1946 Ford with the wooden bumper as our footrest. That's from Alice Dupler. from Florida. Get my drink. Hi, Brent. Poor Dave. Dave's fine. Hi, Karen. I just went live. Davita asked. So, I just have to satisfy my public here. That's how us stars do it. Kevin makes me do it. Hi, Casey Rex. Just sit back and relax. This one must be for Davita. The title is Frozen Corn and Stubbins. I relive a page from my childhood whenever I freeze my own sweet corn. We had a couple of acres on the edge of Mount Vernon, Ohio. Dad always put in a large garden that helped feed us in the summer and gave us enough corn and beans to freeze for the winter. Freezing the corn was always a big deal. I remember our kitchen full of women sitting around our table chatting and waiting to cut corn, including my sisters, Melvina, Barbara, and Sandra, and my aunts. Freezing corn was a work day with a festive air. Mom put large kettles of water on the stove to boil and sent us to pick the corn. Barbara, Sandy, Sandra, and I ran as fast as we could to cross the creek, pick and husk the corn, and run back to the house. It had to be fresh as humanly possible. With our arms full to overflowing, we dumped the husked corn into the pots. After no more than a minute or two in the water, the corn was pulled out and plunged into icy water. Then Mom filled platters with the cooled corn and placed them in front of each woman. With the cob placed on end, the women used sharp knives to cut down the length of the cob in a single stroke. The corn fell in golden ribbons onto the plates. Oh, that sounds good. I remember my mom doing that. I know I talk too much about my memories, but you guys are, I'm sure, feeling the same way. Hi, Karen H. Oh, wait, I said hi. Hi, help me, Rhonda. Just want to make sure I don't miss anybody. When a pile of corn grew to package height, it was scraped into containers to be put into the freezer. As the corn was cut, the room filled with a sweet aroma. I begged and begged for an ear to eat until someone gave me a partially cut cob. Then I discovered a little-known treat, Stubbins, my name for the little bits left when the main kernel is cut off. Freshly cut Stubbins, straight off the cob, are sweet, juicy, and heavenly. I would stuff myself with the sweetness, and I still do whenever freezing corn. I remember at the end of every freezing section, Mother would shout, "Oh, for corn's sake." I added that little part. I think I'm so funny, right? And this one's waxing artistic. Hi, Danielle. My favorite memory of Christmas, 1955, when I was 5 years old, was of decorating with glass wax. It was a cleaning paste you applied to windows and mirrors, let dry, and wiped off with a damp cloth to remove smudges. Around the holidays, the company that made it provided Christmas stencils for decorating windows. I don't remember if we used the official ones or made our own, but we created wonderful window designs in our New Jersey home. Danielle? You taped the stencils to the window and then dabbed on the glass wax with a sponge. When the wax dried, you removed the stencil and had snowy stars, Christmas trees, snowmen, and Santa in a sleigh. When the holidays were over, you just wiped off the wax and the windows would be clean. Maybe that was how Mom got us to do some cleaning. I wonder if anyone else remembers doing this with soap or window cleaning toothpaste. That's from Lois Henderson from Tennessee. Holy shit. And this one is When Autos Came by Boxcar. And there's the picture. My father's Chevrolet dealership in Jacksboro, Texas, received shipments of new autos in railroad boxcars. When my parents bought an old agency in 1944, Hull Chevrolet Company was born. The building was an old railroad depot with the front area used as a parts department and the back, once used for freight storage, reserved for repairs. Only one railway track remained at the rear. It led to a loading dock, and that's where the new cars were delivered. My father and his employees had about 2 days to unload them before the railroad assessed a penalty. Most boxcars contained 4 autos, with 2 suspended from the roof, with a system of pulleys and chains and 2 more below them. If some of the cars were small coupes, perhaps a 5th could be added. We sometimes got shipments to deliver to other dealerships. My first out-of-town driving was at age 16, putting the first miles on a brand new Chevrolet. After my parents sold the business in 1978, the old depot fell into disrepair, but it later came back to life when the city of Jacksboro acquired and restored it from Barbara Garrett's in Kansas. And they just have some little cartoons here. Kind of like from the comic pages of newspapers and that. Hi, Nancy M. Here we go. Sweet Visit to Sears by Debbie Berger, Clarksville, Indiana. I know that's nowhere around me. Hi, Nana Patty. Carolyn will be yelling, put it this way, put it that way. Hold it up, put it down, closer, back. This one should be cute. The pictures say, all smiles. Above from left are the author and sisters Melanie and Susie in 1957. Coincidentally, the author's future husband, David, had his photo taken on Santa's lap at that same Sears in 1958, the same year as the memory she shares here. Hi, Teresa Lily. Nora Woods. I don't see Carolyn and I don't see Moo. They're both going to be in trouble. The tires of our station wagon crunched in the icy ruts of the parking lot of the Sears Roebuck and Company store in downtown Louisville, Kentucky. It was about 2 weeks before Christmas, 1958, and my family and I had arrived to do our holiday shopping. We lived in the suburbs, so it was a special treat to go downtown for gifts. Santa Claus, the rotund, bearded man in the fire engine red suit, waved and boomed a jolly Merry Christmas and ho, ho, ho to all who came to do their shopping. As the Salvation Army greeter, ringing his bell for donations, opened the door, the heat from inside carried the aroma of roasted cashews and peanuts, 2 of our favorite treats. That's what I remember about the Sears in Gary, Indiana, when we would go shopping there. So good. Open up that door and the smell of all the peanuts and, oh gosh, it was great. That's what I always think of when I think of that old Sears. Okay, let's see where okay, at 5 years old, I was overwhelmed by the smells of caramel corn, buttered popcorn, air spun cotton candy, and candied fruit cakes. My mouth watered when I saw row after row of candy and nut displays, and I joined the people lined up at the counter, holding 2 shiny quarters in my mittened hands. I ordered a 15-cent bag of hot, salty cashews and a bag of buttery popcorn and 3 coconut bonbons. My 2 sisters and I shared the bounty, digging in all at once, taking a little from each bag and squabbling over who got which bonbon. Savoring the sweet round candy, I bit into the hard, waxy shell until it yielded to the moist, shredded coconut. Then I followed the sweet taste with a handful of salty popcorn. Melodic. Now, why can't I pronounce all of a sudden? There she is. Melodic sounds, melodies of Christmas carols piped through the speakers, filled the air. The elevator dinged and shoe heels clicked the tile floors. Glittering jewelry, racks of fluffy chenille robes, and piles of shiny tree ornaments competed for my attention. I was especially fascinated by the aluminum tree illuminated by a rotating color wheel beneath it. Just what you were talking about, Davita. I watched it mesmerized until my parents reminded me that I had shopping to do. So I joined the crowded aisles of rushing shoppers searching for gifts. I picked out a lace-edged handkerchief embroidered with flowers for my mother, a shiny keychain for my father, and a tube of multicolored pickup sticks for my sisters to share. I proudly carried my purchases in their crisp white paper bag to the car. Waving a silent goodbye to Sears for another year, I sat back in the car seat listening to Silent Night on the radio. I stared out at the bells and garlands hanging from the lamppost. I watched Christmas lights flashing in the store windows as we left downtown and headed home to the suburbs. Sweet visions of our shopping trip dancing in my head. This is a cute little family and her little pixie stick she bought for her sisters. I guess this must be her husband that she said had his, at the same Sears and had his picture on Santa. Now we're going to go back to, it says humor and hardship. It says fond memories of difficult depression years. It's all good. That's the picture. The author is seen on her horse, Dolly, above on the right in 1932, and her high school graduation photo in 1938. Look how old she looks there. We were talking about you. I sent you a message. I sent you a message. I'm not. I Captain Lee fan. Oh my gosh, this is great. In the early 1930s, my parents owned a small dairy farm in Grants Pass, Oregon. As the Depression engulfed the nation, the long hours of hard work and constant worry over a dwindling income took their toll on my family. My mother, Catherine Dobby Smith, collapsed from nervous exhaustion. My father, John Reynolds Smith, was forced to sell the farm. With the money from the sale, he chose to make his last stand on Croxton Ranch, a 200-acre spread of dry land on Louse Creek, about 5 miles north of Grants Pass. I remember the day that, on foot, we drove our small herd of cattle down the back roads of town and across the highway onto a dirt trail that meandered through the wooded hills to our destination. I felt like a pioneer. Although we had enough to eat, food was scarce in a lot of homes. There were stories of men who took potato peelings to work in their lunch pails. Isn't that sad? Potato peelings in their lunch box. The second year, we lived at Louse Creek in 1932 when I was 11. It was especially hard. The dry ground didn't yield enough for us to make a living. Near Christmas, my horse Dolly, who was used for both plowing and riding, got sick. Oh, I don't want to hear about Dolly dying. My parents tried to treat what they suspected was a severe case of colic, but Dolly bolted and ran until she collapsed and died. Her death dampened the holiday spirit considerably. Well, I just love this happy, humorous story here. On top of that, there was little under the Christmas tree, except a couple of packages from a total stranger, bluntly marked, "To some poor little girls." That's horrible. To some poor little girls? What? But my attention was drawn to a brightly wrapped gift from from my older sister, Virginia, whom I called Gina, Virginia Jenna. What could be inside? I felt it and shook it, trying to guess. My mother and Gina sat nearby. It's Ginna. I've never seen that. Not saying a word, but their sly smiles portended mischief. Eagerly, I tore open the wrapping and found, to my dismay, a dried out horse biscuit, manure chunk, with a note that read, "Sorry, I got you another horse for Christmas, but it ran away." I laugh about it now, but at the time, I failed to see the humor and furiously threw the package at my giggling sister. Ooh, I wouldn't have liked that either. Somehow my parents never seemed to lose faith, not even when the brutal winter temperatures plummeted below zero and one of their valuable heifers died while calving. It was so cold that winter that the creek froze over 2 inches thick, but my father, in his usual fashion, turned tragedy to triumph. Down to the creek he went with an axe, a pick, and a wheelbarrow, which he loaded with ice to bring back to the house. Meanwhile, my mother hunted out the ice cream freezer and filled it with enough ingredients to make 2 quarts of ice cream. Gina and I took turns churning, and when the treat was frozen, the 4 of us gathered around a blazing fire, wrapped in our heavy winter coats, and enjoyed every luscious bite. It was a tough time, but we made it, and what amazes me to this day is that some of my fondest memories come from those very grim years. And here's a picture of her when she wrote this. Down here in the... Hi, Debbie Britt. Really, Nancy M? Would you come on and talk about it sometime, Nancy M? Sometime? Here's the reader's slides show a colorful past. Listen, was that Santa? The wonder of the Christmas season for a child is captured in this 1956 slide of Milt Skillman in front of the family Christmas tree in Mount Pleasant, Michigan. His wife, L.J. Skillman of Mount Vernon, Texas, shares the photo. Aw, look at this. Hi, Carol Boyce. That's okay. You're allowed to be late. You'll just receive a warning this time, Carol. Just a warning. You will, Nancy M? Oh my gosh, yes, please. Okay, and then on this page we have Christmas at the Lake. This is our home on Oxoboxa Lake near Norwich, Connecticut in 1962, notes Robert Morphus of Flemington, New Jersey. We found it while house hunting after I was transferred to my company's Montville location in 1956. And then a little picture here in the corner is a bell on his belfry. My mom, Charlotte Foss, is holding my 2-month-old brother, John, on Christmas Day, 1956 in Lincoln, Nebraska, writes David of Roseburg, Oregon. And then this one, fireplacing. It wasn't Christmas till our dad, James, set up a cardboard fireplace, says Jeff Lewis of Scranton, Pennsylvania. Jack left and I surprised Mom, Jean Ann, in 1970 with the mini wheelbarrows made in Cub Scouts. Oh, those are cute. Aw. There's the house in Connecticut. And then look at those wheelbarrows that they made in Cub Scouts. Cute, right? I had that too with my kids when I was divorced. That little red thing. I had it for a couple of Christmases. It was cute though, you know. Here's some more pictures. I'll just hold them up. Aren't they cute though? Oh, I bet Davita's going to know this right here. Davita's going to recognize that place. Grauman's Chinese Theater. Anybody remember these slides, guys? The Kodak slides? And look at all the, I didn't notice, look how many Christmas cards this lady has strung up all in her living room. Carol. Oh, gosh. I think most of us have some of those slides. Some of our older folks. Hi, in Cheever. Okay, this is a feature I guess they had called Nicest Thing Anyone Has Done for Me. Oh, hi, video reel. 90s, 80s. Well, yeah, because people don't really get as many Christmas cards as they used to, do they? 12 Days of Fun. This one's from Betty Schneider in Idaho. My son lives in Alaska, and one Christmas season, my daughter was also away. A very special family lived to the south of me, and their children decided to surprise me. Each night, they gave me a gift from the 12 days of Christmas. On the first night, I found on my back step a small Christmas tree with a bird representing the partridge in a pear tree. The three French hens were tiny chicken replicas. The funniest gift was the one representing 5 gold rings, 5 glazed donuts in a paper sack. That is cute. At first, I had no idea who was behind all this. One night, I opened the back door and almost caught the two little girls who hid behind my car. The same family invited me to enjoy a lovely Christmas Eve dinner with them. It is all a beautiful memory of a wonderful family. That's cute. This one's round trip kindness. In December 1945, while stationed at Gowan Field in Boise, Idaho, I received a furlough to go home to Alliance, Ohio for the holidays. When I arrived at Union Station in Chicago, servicemen were wall to wall, and there was much pushing and shoving to get through the gates to the trains. I was pushed through a gate, and the conductor checked my ticket and tried to hand it back to me. I reached for it but missed, and a draft of wind blew my ticket back into the terminal. I couldn't retrieve it, so I went ahead and boarded the train. When the conductor checked the tickets, I explained what happened, and he let me go through. After I was home a couple of days, I went to the Alliance station and asked about my return ticket. They said they would see what they could do. Later, I received a call from the Alliance ticket agent asking me to pick up my return ticket. Someone in Chicago had found my ticket and turned it in to the agent there. I wish I knew who did that for me. I have thanked that person many times in my prayers. Aw, that's sweet. That's from William Wright in Canton, Ohio. It's about time to skate. In the heart of the Great Depression, when I was 10 years old, Mother and I lived in La Crosse, Wisconsin, where she was working at Autolite. Mother came to me in September 1938 and said she would be getting laid off about a week before Christmas. She asked me what I wanted for Christmas, and I told her I'd like a pair of ice skates. I picked out a pair of Teetsy's hardware at Teetsy's Hardware for around $5. Mother could pay 25 cents a week, and I could pay 10 cents a week since I had a paper route. At that rate, we would have paid them, they would have been paid for by Christmas. It turned out that Mother was laid off early in the middle of November. I told Mr. Teets what had happened, saying that I could keep paying my 10 cents, but it would take me until around March to get the skates paid for. He agreed to hold them for me until then. On Christmas Eve, we heard a knock at the door, and there stood Mr. Teets with the skates. I reminded him that I couldn't pay yet, but he said, "You need them now, not in March. They are paid in full, and Merry Christmas." I still get tears in my eyes when I think of Mr. Teets' kindness. That's from Brian Roback, Rice Lake, Wisconsin. That's sweet, isn't it? Isn't that sweet? Great people there. Dandy's still here, and Tevis. Oh, there's one more here. Home for the holidays. Still the same nicest thing anyone's ever done for me. During the Korean War, while recuperating from a wound at Camp Gordon, Georgia, now Fort Gordon, I took a few days of Christmas leave to go home to Rocky Mount, North Carolina. A soldier at the camp offered me a ride to Laurinburg, about halfway to my home, and dropped me off at the bus station. The ticket agent said there was a 2-hour wait for a bus to Fayetteville, the next leg of the journey, and that the bus to Rocky Mount would pick me up around 10 p.m. That would get me home at midnight. I had been waiting about 10 minutes when a bus came up showing Fayetteville on the front. I asked the driver if this was my bus, but he said it was a chartered bus and carried no regular passengers. I sat down again, but in a few minutes the driver returned and said he would take me to Fayetteville. I've always assumed that my crutches and leg brace had a profound effect on him. When we got to Fayetteville, the early bus to Rocky Mount was waiting. The driver had called ahead and asked for the bus to be held for me. I thanked him several times for his generosity in helping a crippled soldier get home for Christmas. From Bennett Cockrell, Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Isn't that nice? I mean, people always did such nice things. They still do today, but I don't know. Hi, Tammy Flo. They weren't they, Carol? It seems like. Now everybody's too scared to even do stuff like that. A lot of it, you know. So they might get in trouble or whatever. Brings tears to your eyes, Tracy. Hi, Madonna Brown. I think you're Dorothy's friend, aren't you? This one's called How I Met My Spouse. A couple of different stories here. I am just talking on the phone with my BFF, Christy Ann. She's the only one that loves this slide. Moo's not here. This one is called Too Young Skater Fell Hard for Her Man. Back in 1946, when I was a 14-year-old living in Worcester, Massachusetts, excuse me, my sparkling water, I reluctantly agreed to go roller skating with my sister on Saturday night, even though I was afraid of falling. After putting on my skates, I tried to get up and fell hard on my behind. To my amazement, a young fellow offered to help me up and asked if he could escort me around the floor. Dan tried to teach me to skate the rest of the night, and my sister and I agreed to let him walk us home. For the next couple of weeks, he met us at the rink and walked us home, holding my hand. My father noticed this while watching through the window one night and forbade me to go skating at the rink. I was quite upset, but being only 14, I obeyed my father's wishes. My sister saw Dan at the rink and explained things to him, and he was surprised at how young I was. 2 years later, my sister and I were at a carnival, and she spotted Dan. With my heart beating like a jackhammer, I got up enough courage to stop him and say hello. I didn't know if he'd remember me, so I mentioned roller skating. I later went on the loop ride with him, and my sister and I decided to pretend we were sick so Dan would drive us home. I noticed a collection of pins inside his 1941 Ford Coupe, and he said there was one from every date he'd had. I was surprised and thought he must be a playboy, and I was just another date. But we talked when we got home, and I pleaded with my parents to let me go to the movies with him. A few days later, I added a double heart pin to the collection on the interior roof of Dan's Ford. We soon fell in love and were married above April 29th, 1950. Now, wait a minute. This has to be when they're older, though, like an anniversary. From Evelyn Feed. Marlborough, Massachusetts. Yeah, this has to be their anniversary picture. Hi, Lisa Thomas. Hi, California Thunder. Got your email. I'm ready whenever you are. Oh, good. Good, Dandy. That's just dandy, Dandy. Very dandy. Note got into right hands. In November 1943, my boss at Grumman Aircraft in Port Washington, New York, suggested we send cigarettes to the soldiers overseas instead of exchanging gifts. His cousin, a head nurse in an overseas hospital, would distribute the packs to injured soldiers. I put my name and address and a Christmas greeting on 3 packs. In April 44, I received a note from an airman, Clinton R. Putnell, and we began exchanging friendly letters. Clinton was in the medical corps in Santa Ana, California, and in February 45, he was asked to accompany a patient across the country to Vermont. He asked for a 6-day delay before returning to California and stopped in New York to see me. I was not home when my mother and uncle picked him up at the railroad station. Clinton was upstairs freshening up when I got in, and my mother told me, "You look so pale, like a ghost. Please go put some lipstick on." This was such a surprise coming from my mother, who added, "Don't you dare jump into his arms. Act like a proper young lady." I was about to meet the airman I'd been writing to for months. Well, without even thinking, I jumped into his arms as soon as I saw him. He held me so tight and I didn't want him to ever let me go. That night, Clinton asked me to marry him. He already had my engagement ring and wedding band with him. Less than 70 hours later, at 10 a.m. on February 20th, 1945, we were married in Mineola, New York. By noon, our train left for Santa Ana. And that's from Ann Putnell in Florida. Aw, they're cute there. I'm making, let's see. I'm making a cup of tea while Christiane is doing it. Oh, she makes the go. Oh, Carol. Oh my gosh. Robin Wayne. Here's Reflections of Christmas Traditions Shine Bright by Dorothy Morris, Highland Mills, New York. Look at this tree. It's shaped kind of different, but I kind of like it. Oh, wow. Really, Tammy Flo? That's really neat. And 65 years. Wow. So Christiane is crafty, I take it, huh, Carolyn? Okay, this one is, I was born in 1930 during the Depression, and while I don't remember going hungry, there were few frills. Still, getting ready for Christmas was memorable. Each September, my father, sister, and I hiked into the forest behind our house to choose a Christmas tree. Dad tacked it, and a few days before Christmas, we tramped through the snow, cut the tree, and dragged it into our house. Though it looked small in the woods, it was always looking too big to fit through the kitchen door. Mom watched as we emerged from the woods And her comment was always the same: "You're not bringing that into my house." Dad's response was equally predictable: "Now, don't worry, Marge. I haven't customized it yet." Some years his engineering skills failed, and even customizing didn't help. But we always thought the tree was perfect. Next, yep, in my true BFF, because she loved this life. Okay, I'll try. Carolyn can't make me laugh anymore. I can't read her comments. I'm not going to be. I'm going to have to. I usually do put ASMR. Nobody's believed it yet, though. I don't think. Next, we retrieved Grandpa Helbean's cast iron tree stand from the basement, a foot-high triangle with legs and a holder for the trunk, but no well for water. Then came the decorations, some so old they had wax strippings on them from the days of candlelit trees. Each year, Dad told us about the holidays. Um, Each year, Dad told us about the holidays when he was a boy. After Christmas Day, chores and supper, his parents and 4 brothers adjourned to the unheated parlor where a tree stood in that cast iron stand. Dad and his brothers had buckets of water at their feet in case the tree caught on fire. No one was allowed to move. His father lit the candles on the tree one by one, and they provided the only light in the room. Before very long, the candles were extinguished. Each boy was given his one gift from under the tree, an orange. Then it was over. After finishing this annual story, Dad would leave the room, and his 2 daughters undertook the decorating. He'd come back when we were done, and our question was always the same: "Do you like it, Daddy?" To which he always responded, "If it was any better, it would be no good." We never figured out the logic, and until he passed away at 94, we never questioned it. Nor did we ever know when or how 3 boxes appeared under the tree on Christmas morning. The largest one held jewelry for our mother, while the smaller ones had jewelry for me and my sister. Dad addressed the tags the same way each year. Mom said, "To my sweetheart." I was the older child, so my tag read, "To daughter number 1, love from your daddy." The back of the tag said, "Return the tag." After all, there was a depression on. As my parents grew older and we left home to raise our own families, their trees were artificial green or silver foil. Dad always complained that they weren't real Christmas trees. After my mother's untimely death and my father's decision to sell the homestead, he and I decided to revive the old traditions one last time. The less than perfect live tree shown in the photograph graced Dad's parlor once again. The "To My Sweetheart" gift box was missing from under it, but the memories of our mom loomed large in our thoughts. We were thankful as we reflected on those happy, predictable, secure years. And here's a picture of them in their Sunday best, about 1941. The author at far left with her sister Jean and her parents, Edgar, and Margaret. Aw, nice little family. Hi, Jen Grill. Wait. Oh, wait, there we go. Sorry. Father looks kind of handsome, doesn't he? She looks She's your only true friend. Here's more Christmas memories. Wow, look at this Santa. He's kind of scary. Sort of. That mustache is weird. A penny saved. Many years ago, when I was making 75 cents an hour, my 3 children asked for bicycles for Christmas, but I couldn't afford them. So that January, I put 3 bikes on layaway. I paid all through the year, but a week before Christmas, I still owed $14.50 on the bikes. The Saturday before Christmas, my son Ricky, above, asked how much I still owed. When I told him, he asked if he could pour the pennies out of the penny jug we kept. I said, "Son, I don't care, but I know there's not $14.50 worth of pennies in there." Ricky poured them out, counted them, and said, "Mom, there's $15.50 worth of pennies." Ecstatic, I told him to count out $1 for gas so I could go get the bikes. I've always thought of this as our little miracle. It was as blessed a Christmas as anyone could ever have. From Dot Williams, Canton, Georgia. And this picture with this, oh, wait, no. This is the little boy that gave his mom the rest of the money for the bike. What time is it? Oh, I'm going to have to get off. Carolyn will be going live. Are you going to have Christiane on the live with you, Carolyn? Here's another one. In the St. Nick of Time. My father was a rural mail carrier in Smethport, Pennsylvania, for more than 40 years. One Christmas Eve in the late 1940s, he returned to the post office after finishing his route and noticed a pile of packages, parcels that had arrived on the afternoon truck. They were addressed to a family that had quite a number of kids and lived out in Irish Hollow. Dad brought the packages home and called the father of the family, telling him that he could come pick them up. The man said gratefully to my dad that he had already told his kids there would be no opening of gifts because the packages hadn't arrived. This is one Christmas Eve I will never forget because it made me so happy to see my father make another family's Christmas merry. From Jerry Cleesath, Preble, New York. Carolyn, you going live soon? Hi, Eleanor Reed. I'm out if you're watching next. Sorry, Scooter. What do you mean? Brent. I don't know what you mean. She's full of spice tonight, is what she is, Scooter. I know, right? See, did I miss something? What else did she say? I'm just having fun with Scooter, and the only one ignoring you is Scooter. So in supper now. I said hi to N-Cheevers. I said hi to you, N-Cheevers. Hi, Lisa H. Brent said sorry for the middle finger. That's okay. Boy, You're really full of it tonight, Mama Ramblins. I love it though. I love when you make us laugh, make me laugh. Gosh, oh, you got your napkins today. We had a drunk Santa one year. His breath stank and you couldn't understand a word he said. Oh my gosh. Let me see if there's actually one story in here to maybe read. There's a whole bunch of memories though, so this is a good one too. Like these magazines that I just got today. Oh, Carolyn, this is it right here. This is what I was talking about. Are you here, Carolyn? These are what I made. The nicest gifts are homemade with G&H sugar, C&H sugar. Look, Carolyn, look. I bet Christiane doesn't make these. Look, the thumbprint things, cookies. It's an old ad, 1971, Carolyn. Wonder if this is what I followed. It's so tiny I can't even read it, but it's a half cup, 1 stick of butter, some brown sugar, an egg, vanilla, flour, salt, chopped walnuts, candied cherries, or jelly, or melted chocolate pieces. Does that sound like yours? I know she wasn't. I'm just saying. It's her aunt's recipe. I'm wondering if it's the same. Look at this, guys. 1946, this eggnog pie. Very different. Fluffy eggnog filling. And then over here, Wrigley's Spearmint Gum, 1934. Your mother-in-law would make thumbprint cookies with brownie mix full of chopped nuts with cream cheese frosting for the print. So good. Oh gosh, I bet those would be. That sounds great. And here's a what a Christmas present for only $7.50. The Brunswick Junior Playmate Pocket Billiard Table. I know she does, Tracy. Her best friend does everything perfectly. Oh, I remember these ads too. Public has just 7 days to get free heaters. This is like the one Dave and I got. It's out in the family room. Look, like one of those Amish. I don't know why they always said they were free, because they never were free. Ours sure wasn't free. Hey, Dorothy. Two scooter drunk. Well, hey, not yet, but maybe hang around. Guess we ought to go because Carolyn, Mama Ramblins will be going on, I'm sure, very soon. And everybody's already saying love the story time, so maybe she's already live and I just don't know it because it looks like everybody's piling out. Right, Lisa? Alicia, Dorothy. Hope you guys liked these tonight. I'm excited. There's so many more pictures and everything in here. And I got all these new ones. Well, they're not new, but you know, new used. eBay. They just came today. So, thank you, Tracy. You're welcome, Debbie. Okay, guys, I guess we'll go. Mama Ramblins, Kathy from Texas. See y'all at Carolyn's. Hey, baby doll. How's it going, girl? You're welcome, Davita. Love y'all. See you hopefully very soon. Okay? Bye, guys. End this. End.